are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Thank you, Criswell, for laying out our mission statement. The Code Rad Show is back. I am here with Jim for another installment of the Atomic Archive. Jim, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Got very wet today. Very rainy here in the Northeast. Imagine probably most of the East Coast. Not sure, but
It's the same here.
Yeah, hurricane action going on, right?
Yeah, good old Debbie. Good old Debbie's making her presence known as some cities around here, like Delran, have been flooded. But luckily, we don't see any flooded yet, so I guess that's good. That's a good thing. Hopefully, it'll stay that way. But
yeah, all right. Well, let's go ahead and play the intro, and we'll get right into Superman and Green Lantern.
Gotcha.
All right, the door is shut. We're trapped in the Atomic Archive now, which right now is all about comic books, but there may be other forms of radioactive entertainment we'll visit in future episodes. So, Jim, why don't you go ahead and get started?
Sure. Okay. So I'm very excited because I get to talk about one of my... There's many heroes in fiction, but there's always one for me personally that stood above the rest, and that was Batman. Yes, today I got to talk about Batman. So I'm very happy about that.
Nice figure.
Batman.
Let's see. What is that like a? Yeah, cool. When I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I was, so edgy. I hated the yellow oval Batman, and that was ubiquitous. I mean, just Batman always had the yellow oval. Now I love the yellow oval. I mean, I liked all the different ones, but I was just like, the yellow in the costume, that's stupid. Batman should be dark and grim, but I would have killed for a figure like that. But
here's what the yellow oval, if you'd see it. I like the oval too, but yeah, here it is, right here. There's a yellow oval.
Nice. I think Carmine Infantino, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was the one. Or
I think he designed that.
Julie Schwartz that decided to add the yellow oval.
Yeah,
one of them. Yeah.
Now, as an aside, I liked Darwin Cook's New Frontier.
Oh, that was great. I love that.
That was an awesome comic book, and I love how Batman explains the yellow oval. He's like, I want to scare criminals, not children. There's a scene where a kid starts crying when he sees Batman or something, and so he explains that's why he added the yellow in. He didn't want to be too scary. All right, so go ahead. Do I need to put your slideshow up on there, or are you able to do that?
I guess you'll have to do it. I guess.
Right,
sorry, it's not coming up. I can click on it, but nothing's happening. There we go. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
See if I can. Okay. So here we go. Batman 217. So probably should explain a little of the backstory about what was happening with Batman and DC Comics. So probably most of us, we probably got our first exposure to Batman from the Adam West TV show that was being played in syndication, so much. And let's see, I remember Channel 11 used to run, WPX used to run it. But let's see.
Absolutely. When Batman came on, had to move all the furniture to the sides of the room so I could act out the fight scenes as it happened on the show.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, that's right. Well, basically, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but so ABC canceled the show in 1968. It really ran 3 seasons. Yeah. Now, NBC was interested in picking it up for a fourth season under one condition, and that condition was the sets they use, like the Batcave and whatnot, weren't cheap. They were like $800,000, and you figured fast forward to 2024, that's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Oh, damn! I mean, in 1960s money, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. So they said they were interested in picking it up for a fourth season, but on the condition that the sets were still intact and still standing. Unfortunately, the sets were destroyed, like bulldozed, about a few weeks before.
Oh,
so
man.
it was kind of a shame. I can see being an actor be like, but showbiz is just crazy. But so basically, the show was canceled, and Batman's popularity was waning. The books weren't selling as well, so it was decided that some changes had been made, and we're seeing here. Batman decides to move out of the Batcave and go into basically Bruce Wayne also had a penthouse. So they moved from Wayne Manor to a penthouse in Gotham City.
Oh, yeah?
So so it's
All
being
right.
rich has its perks. Yeah, definitely.
Interesting. Sure. But yeah, kind of you park your Batmobile in the parking structure underneath the apartment building.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how
some
they
interesting situations.
Now later on, they definitely explain. How does he? There was some sort of secret entrance somewhere under the building where he would use.
Yeah.
But let's take a look in the actual book. So we see Bruce Wayne. He's feeling rather sad. It turns out that after so many years, Dick Grayson's finally going to college. Finally. He's going to college, goes to Hudson University. So the writers felt that just one of the changes they make is kind of lessen Robin's role in Batman's universe. And I think it's kind of a good idea because personally, I prefer Batman when he's by himself.
Yeah.
I think his best stories are, just him, no Robin or Batgirl or Nightwing or whoever. And maybe we can have folks maybe leave in the comments, which you prefer. Do you prefer Batman when he's by himself, or do you prefer when he has a supporting hero with like Robin, Nightwing, whoever?
Yeah.
So let's see. We see here art by Irv Novick and Dick Giordano, a story by Frank Robbins. Frank Robbins actually started for DC in 1968. Before he was in the comic strips, he did one called Scorchy Smith, which I never even heard of, and did one called Johnny Hazard, which is kind of like an adventure, like an Indiana Jones kind of character. He did that for a while. As for Irv Novick, he did mostly war and romance comics. So I think he was kind of new to the whole superhero comic scene. He left DC temporarily to work for an advertising agency, and he wasn't happy there with that, so he decided to come back and work at DC and do stuff like this. So let's see. Here we are.
Oh,
Bruce is kind of reminiscing.
Quite dapper.
Indeed, yes. He's on his way to college. He's
Nice.
He's Mr. College Man now. That's right.
Yeah.
Took a while, but 20 years or 30 years of however long it was. But I guess time doesn't move the same as it does in our world, and their world probably moves a little slower. But I think so they would use Robin with Batman every now and then, but not as much.
Okay.
I do know Robin had some solo stories from campus. As I think this story continues in Detective Comics, and that issue had a Robin backup story where he's in college and fights crime in college. So let's see. I know he's saying, "Here I'm a man now." At least that's what my draft card says, and that might be interesting to see. I don't know, maybe a what if story, like what if Dick Grayson got drafted to Vietnam? What would that would look like?
Yeah, or How many comic book characters have been drafted over the years?
Flash Thompson, I think, is one, but not many.
Oh, really?
He got drafted, but not many. Yeah, not many at all. Let's see, you see a little tear, and
Yeah.
Dick's like, is it going to blow it up a little bit, make it a little bigger? Maybe not. That's all right.
Let's see
Yep,
if I
sorry.
do it that way. It makes it a little bit bigger.
All right, folks. Yeah, sorry, folks. I'm still getting used. I'm still new to the world of Google Slides, but I appreciate your patience and Jason's, who's been very patient with me. So it's still kind of new to me. Let's see. So, all right. So Bruce
Cool
sized
Batmobile there. Looks influenced by the TV show.
it kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Bruce decides that they have to evolve. So he decides to, because crime has evolved, and decides that we're in danger of becoming outmoded, obsolete, dodos of the world outside. Our best chance is to close up shop here. And let's go to the next page. Take a long, possibly last look. Alfred, the Batcave is going to join all the caves of history housing the extinct past. So we can see here, as you folks probably know, that Batman, when he first started in the 30s, he was a more kind of like dark, shadowy, almost like a kind of pulp character. So here, we kind of see them kind of laying the seeds of their kind of going back to his roots, going back to that dark Batman.
Yeah.
So by reestablishing the trademark of the old Batman to strike fear into the new breed of gangsters sweeping the world. And I also want to bring up another point here where they decided that they were going to give the supervillains like Joker, Penguin, Riddler, they were going to give them a little break and kind of focus more on, say, small-time gangsters or corrupt politicians.
Sure.
Yeah.
Trying to make Batman more realistic, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and actually, kind of glad you brought that up. So this is 1969, but pretty soon we're entering what would be known as the Bronze Age of comics.
Mm-hmm.
That was from 1970 1985, and basically what that consisted of was they both DC and Marvel were kind of going in a more darker direction with their story elements.
Mm-hmm.
Like you probably know that Gwen Stacy, a storyline where she dies.
Sure, yeah.
So that was definitely an example of that. Also, they also decided to, I think Marvel did this first, but I think DC did it later, where they would kind of interweave more socially relevant issues or topics into the storylines. Like I think we mentioned last week Denny O'Neil with racism, with drug use, kind of fuse more of that into these stories. Let's see. So let's move on. So it was kind of a slow start because right here, he says we're going to suck it to him at night. So I guess that was a laughing reference, I guess. But
oh, right.
yes, I think it was kind of still not quite, shedding that whole campy image yet, but they're getting there. They're getting there. And let's see. Yeah, I don't know why, but he starts calling Alfred Alf. I don't know why. I guess he thought that was hip or cool, I guess. I don't know. But
yeah, maybe.
But I love that suit, though. He's got an awesome suit. But here they go into the Wayne Foundation, the penthouse somewhere up here. How many cars does he own?
I was admiring that one in the top panel. Looks kind of like a Porsche.
It's like, what's your superpower? I'm rich.
Yeah.
So let's see. So this story is pretty much like a whodunit story. It's probably not the most interesting of the Batman stories, but it's a very important issue because, again, we're slowly stepping into that direction of him becoming the dark and brooding vigilante of the night.
Yeah.
So this story is like more, murder mystery. But so basically, he reads about this woman's who's a doctor. Her husband was murdered by a small-time gangster, and he's trying to help her, figure out who the murderer was. And I'll say, what's that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, just swap.
Exactly. Yes. Well, he was saying perhaps, well, you could at least wait until the flowers wilted on the grave, and because she doesn't know who she is or he is yet. So he says,
Okay.
perhaps if you had any, if you weren't so full of self pity, you could, and your husband's memory more.
Hmm.
What? And then she slaps him. So Bruce Wayne is not always the most tactful of people. I think we still see that today.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just he's not a bad person, but I think
It's part of his disguise.
yeah, well, I think even of Batman too, I think he can be kind of condescending towards like his
Okay.
maybe not so much Alfred, but
Yeah.
let's see. But definitely 60, and I love that hairstyle. It's really cool.
I love the solid colors of the backgrounds.
Yeah, no, it's very nice.
Yeah.
I was going to mention so Irv Novick and also Dick Giordano, who a name that people know.
Oh, yeah.
A very prominent figure at DC Comics later on.
Very much so.
Let's see. So I think they decide he has this plan that he's going to lure whoever the killer is by disguising himself. So here's, well, yeah, he goes to visit her as Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to convince her, I'm going to lure the killer. I'm going to bait the killer back here by, let's see, taking on several disguises. Here's Bruce Wayne in disguise. Here, and here is a cab driver. It's like, tell that Doc's wife got her. Sorry, I had a hard time reading it. Her glimpse on the Joker who slug her for a better half. So disguising it and trying to spread the word about it, and hoping that will lead the killer back to her name is Dr. Fielding. Dr. Fielding's place. And here we have a very interesting. Here's the Wayne penthouse.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah. Very modern.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
Yeah. No,
So,
cool.
So of course the killer does come back. But no problem. Batman stops him in time. But not before getting taking some punishment. And again, he sees some bad puns here. So thanks, Susan, she throws a scalpel. The guy's trying to grab the gun. She throws a scalpel, and the guy lands between his fingers. Thanks, Susan. Very incisive perception or interception. So, again, still some not quite shedding all the campiness yet, but they're getting there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Zap. So that's still the same. Whap, zong, zap.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's a small-time guy, he still gets lucky, whacks him with a cane, and gets a shot in. Batman isn't able to intercept the shot, luckily, but not without taking damage. So he's pretty banged up there. But I don't think until this point, I don't think they ever showed Batman at this kind of level of vulnerability before. So it's very interesting to that he's not like Superman. He can be hurt seriously.
For sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. Seeing Batman in a sling. That's
right.
That's right. You don't see that every day.
No, not at all. No, especially not back then. Yeah. Luckily she's a doctor, so that's that's helpful.
Yeah.
Let's see. That page is, and here we see some more. They brought detective work back into the stories as well. They're looking to see like bullet casings. Yeah, they deduced that actually it wasn't one hitman, it was two. So they get they're after two hitmen. He has his arm in a sling, but he doesn't want people to know that he's afraid if he uses the sling at work, they're going to assume, people are going to get very suspicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize this. Yeah, and this picks up at Issue Detective. I think the following month, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
But just once some points I wanted to make about Batman as the character. That's he's my favorite. I love Spider-Man. He's a great character. But to me, he has the perfect origin. Seeing your parents killed, right in front of you at 8 years old, what would that do to you psychologically?
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say Bruce Wayne is insane, but I would say he's pretty messed up. He's pretty messed up, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have 3 reasons here. I think Batman has the best villains. Like Spider-Man and the Flash have great rogues gallery of villains, but I think Batman has the best.
Mm-hmm.
Because and also the most famous. Because even though a lot of them don't really have powers, they're just very psychologically unstable.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to defeat a villain where they don't really care about human life. It's kind of hard to and they're just so insane and reckless that you can't really reason with them. See, and finally, I would say Batman at least is somewhat plausible. At least it was more back then. I think it's very hard to be, even no matter how much money you have, like now. I don't think it'd be kind of hard for a rich guy to go out at night and fight crime, because I think if they have satellites that can see the follicles of your head, I'm sure they would find you and come to your home and arrest you. And but I think back then it probably was a little more plausible than say Superman. So
I mean, that is an interesting point. I never thought of that, but the idea of Batman existing in the 30s up through the 70s, 80s, it seems more plausible than today with the unbelievable amounts of tracking technology and, like you said, satellites and what have you. Crazy DNA tests, and
it'd be so hard to do. Yeah, they would find you and they arrest you and just it would just really, no matter how good your intentions would be, just they'd still arrest you and take your manor or penthouse or whatever, probably lock up your English butler, take away your bat gadgets. But I think just one last point, and I'll turn it over to you. I think I really became a Batman fan. I've always been one, but I think what really I really became a Batman fan was 1989. And that was the year that Batman, the first of the modern movies, came out. And I remember the hype back then was like nothing I had seen before. People were, cutting the emblem in the back of their heads. And I remember trying to see Batman in the theater, and there was guys selling bootleg Batman T-shirts in the parking lot. It was unbelievable. It was incredible.
Oh, I remember it vividly. It was crazy. It was that was something, I don't know if it was unique, but Batmania was crazy in '89. I mean, you'd go into a store in the mall, and it would just be Batman T-shirts over the whole wall. You'd have your choice of like 25 different Batman T-shirts you could choose from. It was like Star Wars T-shirts. Now it's like everyone had a Batman T-shirt back then.
I definitely did. Guilty as charged. Like I had Batman and Joker. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I had a great Joker shirt. Just a giant Joker head.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, from neck down to the bottom of the shirt. Yeah.
I think I remember seeing that. Yeah. I do. Yeah. There's some
pictures of me wearing it pop up on Facebook once in a while. I should find them back, for when they do the memories, your memories and stuff like that. I see pictures of me from summer camp that someone posted.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, wearing my Joker T-shirt.
I remember when you got to the theater, they would give you like a pamphlet that had a catalog. I might still have it somewhere, that it had a catalog from Warner Brothers about, hey, you see the movie, now buy all our stuff. So
yeah. I think I've seen that online. I think I've seen that posted.
Have it somewhere around here, but so it was just the hype was just like nothing I haven't seen.
It was through the roof. Batmania was crazy in 1989. And then that was like that was the movie. They really changed the VHS release, because it used to be a long time before the VHS would come out, and videotapes frequently cost like $100. And
Yes.
but with Batman, they decided to capitalize on all the hype. And I think the videotape came out in like October or something, which was
Yeah, it's pretty
really
fast.
for back in the day.
It was pretty October, November. And it was like for $20. So and they
Yeah,
sold
yeah,
them,
it was
shipped them.
affordable. So yeah, I know. I got it on the day it was available. I think I worked at Pathmark then, and I think
Okay.
of course Pathmark got it, and so I think that's where I bought it from.
Nice. Or they even had Batman cereal.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
any-
definitely remember Batman cereal. Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, I'm going to turn it over to you now. And I'm
All
excited
right.
about this because this is Green Lantern. And just show you briefly, you could say I'm a Green Lantern fan.
Let's see. Do I need to put it up there? There we go.
So yeah, you could say I'm a fan.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Oh, I see Alfred E. Newman there. I didn't catch him first time I saw the picture. Cool.
I think you and Lynn got me that for a birthday gift, but yeah, I still got it. And it's,
yeah. From Ontario Street Comics. They always have some interesting figures and things there. So yeah.
his gloves are socks. Troop socks. Just little details
That's
like
great.
that. Yeah.
And am I missing any? To me, it looks like aside from Alfred E. Newman, the rest are Hal Jordan. Are there any other?
No, I collect just Hal Jordan stuff because he's my favorite.
Oh, he's definitely my favorite too.
Yeah, no, he's always been my favorite. Yeah, I know the others like Guy Gardner and John Stewart and Kyle Rayner. They're all great. You know, I like all of them, but Hal is still my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he figures. He looms large in the issue I'm going to talk about. Before I talk about that issue, I mean, Green Lantern, like a lot of comic books, has had a lot of endings and beginnings. Characters die and then they're reincarnated or whatever. They go through all kinds of changes. Green Lantern's gone through a lot of those. I mean, especially Hal Jordan. And back when this came out, I feel like it was just a few years ago, but I think it was actually like 20 years ago now. Insane.
Yeah, wow. Great cover.
I just went into a comic book store and saw this, and I thought, well, I love Green Lantern. See, it's issue number 1. It's Rebirth. That sounds like something I could just get. And plus, how being Hal Jordan, I was excited about that. So I got it, and so I was looking at it for today's episode. This is not the issue I'm doing, but I figured, just catching up on different versions of Green Lantern. And I happened to look at it upside down, and I saw something I never saw before. See, in the reflection of the lantern, there's I assume that's supposed to be like evil Hal Jordan.
That's awesome.
Yeah. 20 years, and I never noticed that. And
I didn't know
awesome. Because I mean, the human, the human brain is meant to see faces right side up, and it's hard to recognize a face that's upside down, and your eyes just go to this Hal Jordan up here. And so I just happened to look at it upside down, and I guess that is supposed to be evil Hal Jordan reflected there. So I thought that was cool.
Good old parallax.
Yeah, nice, tricky little sort of Easter egg by Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah, so he did a great job on that whole series. Yeah, I love his interpretation of Green Lantern. But yeah, I never even saw that until now. So wow, mind blown.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so now, as you know, I'm going to share a tab. It'll be the first time I've presented this way. So let's just see how it works. Share screen and Green Lantern. All right, and so it looks good. Right. All right, yeah, no ads or anything. All right, so I chose Green Lantern 200. This was a huge event back in the day. You can see great epic cover, giant power charging lantern there, the big one that sends out all the energy all across the galaxy, and hundreds of Green Lanterns all gather together, their fists raised. And
That's
of course,
awesome.
yeah. So this was a huge deal. Here we got the giant super lantern again, 5 billion years. I'm not sure I like that so much. It's like when they talk about the history, I'm like, it's too long. You're telling me these Guardians have been alive for 5 billion years. It's too long. I don't like that. But
How do you keep count?
yeah, crazy. But I mean, yeah, 1 million is more than enough. So, so here we have this big event going on. Everyone's on Oa. Steve Englehart, Joe Staton, I think a very underrated team. Just great. The run on Green Lantern is great. So the Guardians are getting ready for something. Here, this guy says, imagine the universe at the mercy of Guardians gone senile. So they are. So something is up.
I think 5 billion years do that to you.
Yeah, I mean, and if you've been around for 5 billion years and now you're starting to worry about going senile, I mean, yeah, maybe you're okay. I don't know. So like the idea is that they are immortal, but they do deteriorate
Eventually.
So, yes. And so here they've got the classic Green Lantern villain. There's Sinestro. He's in one of their cells. Great dialogue. Steve Englehart is such a good writer. Here Sinestro says, "My, what a deeply furrowed brow, Guardian. Can it be that something disturbs your bland, bloodless soul? That you have never understood us, Sinestro." So, and so, of course, Sinestro is just thinking about having revenge. So,
yes, the rogue Green Lantern from planet Korrigar, who once was a Green Lantern himself.
right.
Eventually went against, for his extreme methods.
Exactly. Yep. And he was the only Green Lantern that didn't work out. I think if I have my Green Lantern history correctly, because here you even have Guy Gardner, who's always up to no good, causing problems, very full of himself. But even he, as far as I know, never lost a ring. I mean, he can be pretty annoying, make the Guardians upset. Here he is teaming up with Carol Ferris, who is Star Sapphire. They are both bad. And here he is coming up with a plan to do something. No good, of course. In the previous issues, Guy Gardner went on a mission that was so convoluted and complicated. It was, I think I would have had a stroke trying to figure it out. Because this is taking place right around the time of Crisis. I think Crisis on Infinite Earths might have just finished for this issue. So the other issues, you have to keep in mind that Crisis on Infinite Earths is going on, and the Guardians say, Hal Jordan, you've got to go destroy the birthplace of the Anti-Monitor. But then someone else comes along and says, no, Guy Gardner, if you destroy that, you will destroy the universe. But if you do that, you will destroy one universe and the other universes will survive. It is so convoluted and complicated. And it turns out it would be wrong to destroy the birthplace of the Anti-Monitor. But how they got to that conclusion was quite... it was very complicated. And I assume that has to do with Steve Englehart having to coordinate with the Crisis. Because, of course, that really... This must have been one of the first real attempts to bring all the, what they call it, crossover event. And they really crossed over.
They did. Every title you could think of.
Yeah. And so coordinating all that must have been crazy. And so Guy tells Carol Ferris or Star Sapphire, Queen of the Zamarons, that they need to team up and do something. What are they going to do? Well, we'll find out shortly. Let's see. Page 6. All right, they are still planning, and who shows up? But Hector Hammond, another classic Green Lantern villain. And so after he mentions the triumvirate of terror, we cut to John Stewart, Katma-Tui, and this guy who is named Appa. He is a guardian who became human. So, so he still looks like a guardian, except when you become mortal, you lose the blue skin. This is what passes for flesh color in this comic book. So he's a human, and he's on this spaceship with John Stewart and Katma-Tui. Here he is talking about living for 5 billion years. And and so then they're on their way to do something, but that's going to get interrupted. And here you have some fantastic artwork by Joe Staton. I love this. It just is so great. All the different Green Lanterns. You have the creative alien species. Can't think of his name. The guy with the long pink head. He's very grouchy and pessimistic. And
I can't remember. I should know this.
Yeah, they say it in this issue. So here they are flying around. Hal Jordan just got his ring back. He's, making the sign of the Green Lanterns out there in space. They're all having a great time. But except for this, he's not too pessimistic yet. Everything is fine. Hal Jordan just can't get over how cool it is to be flying around space. And then dun dun dun, he sees Flash. Now, I mean, I haven't read Crisis on Infinite Earths in probably 30 years. I as much as I loved it as a kid, I haven't revisited it. But I do remember one of the most memorable things about Crisis was the tragic death of Flash.
Yes.
Even though he died heroically, destroying, a cannon that the Anti-Monitor had built that was going to destroy Earth or the universe or something. It's such a sad death because he was on the other side of the universe all by himself, all alone. And, his ghost was appearing to other characters as his, physical form was disintegrating. It was very tragic. They really did Barry Allen dirty with that one. And so here he appears again. And so I was thinking this is some sort of projection of his ghost before he died. What's going on? Hal Jordan's trying to figure out what to make of it. He finds out, Flash is solid there, shakes hands with him. He's like, he appears to be real, but then something happens to him. And then Tomar-Re shows up. And here was one of the things about this comic book. This is so continuity heavy. Here we have some boxes. Tomar-Re died 2 issues earlier. Hal got his ring from him. They went on this mission with Guy Gardner, that very complicated one I was talking about. Then here you have, look at GL6, really? I mean, that's going back a while. And
yes,
I in the 80s reading it, none of my friends could have gone and pulled out, Green Lantern number 6. So no. I'm not really sure how useful those references are. But Hal Jordan's meeting all these people. Here he is on this asteroid or something. And here comes Carol Ferris. What is going on? She's not. It's all been a trick. Ooh, look, she knees him in the face. She's really Star Sapphire. Uses her purple energy. Yep. He's using his green energy, of course. And it turns out this was all a ruse by Hector Hammond. He brought Guy Gardner and Star Sapphire there. And Hector Hammond uses his brain to defeat Hal Jordan, but Hal Jordan's will just is too strong. Here you have Guy Gardner taking his ring, and if you see here, whoop, ring goes right back on the Hal Jordan's hand.
Nice.
And he knocks out Hector Hammond's. Hector Hammond collapsing onto the asteroid, and Guy Gardner and Star Sapphire are no match for Hal Jordan. He captures him real easy. So that nice little enemy attack is over practically before it starts. So let's see. So now we have Sinestro, who's being held by the potato head Green Lantern. I forget his name. And
I can't remember.
I'm not sure I remember this one's name either. She has a distinctive look.
Yeah, ponytail. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's
yeah,
so
she looks kind of emo. You see her from see her face. So yeah, so they're transporting evil Sinestro, but as here he is thinking, by now they must be implementing the plans. What is that? I'm not even sure what the relationship to these guys are called, the Weaponers, but they come and attack the ship. They're coming to save their boss, Sinestro. Here's John Stewart, who is during this run, they color his face yellow. I don't understand that choice. It doesn't look good. It's, I mean, unless it's to play off his girlfriends, Katma Tui, who's red, the primary colored faces. I don't know why they make his face yellow. It's very distracting.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, the Weaponers attack the ship. They try to fight him off. There's a surprise attack. Remember, our Guardian here is actually human. He's kind of funny looking. He's got the big Guardian forehead and everything, but he's actually human. And the Weaponers blind Katma Tui, and she's out of it. She's woozy, and so our fake human Guardian gets tricky and is like, "Ho, pirates! Are you truly so anxious to die that you would attack a Guardian?" And no one is dumb enough to do that. But they're like, "Hey, wait a minute. Why aren't you blue?" Well, they're starting to see through my ruse. But Cap wakes up and they capture these guys real easy. So another evil plan foiled by our heroes. Now, let's see. All right. And here, all right, this character's name is Salak.
Salak. Okay.
Salak. Here, Chip is saying, "Looks like a lot of Green Lanterns are back from their missions now, big guys." And Salak says, "There is no prize for punctuality, Chip." So he's just a real Debbie Downer. They should, maybe they could give Debbie Downer a Green Lantern ring. She would make a fine addition to the Corps. So let's see. So skip ahead a few pages, and I think we can skip a few, and we get to this cool thing. Here's all the Green Lanterns. I think all the Green Lanterns from the universe are here for this big meeting. Very, very grand. Very cool how the Guardians all slowly float in to address the Corps. But then the Zamorans arrive, and
oh no!
They're not very friendly. But we have a revelation here, and I guess the Owens became the Guardians, and the Zamorans. They're basically Lady Guardians, and they went off and became Zamorans, and the Guardians, became the Guardians. They did their thing, but they're actually, it's a yin yang kind of thing. They're opposite sides of the coin. And there's a great line that sums it up.
I like their armor.
Yeah, no, they're very cool. They use these, I guess they use star sapphires to for their powers. And here's a great picture. This is Joe Staton at his best. Very cool. This Guardian giving off Yoda vibes. This Zamoran ready to do battle. She doesn't believe that the Zamorans are the other half of the Owens, but they're about to do battle, and they're quite critical because the Zamorans are warlike, aggressive, whereas the Owens are, more laid back. And so she doesn't. Yeah, they kind of have Jedi vibes. They're kind of in that way. as you can see, he has no trouble deflecting her attacks. You know, the controllers left you because you wouldn't use your power, and we left because you wouldn't use your power. But he is just not impressed. He is super powerful, having no problem. And then here he is, puts himself in a bubble and just blasts her. And she becomes convinced they are opposite sides of the same coin. And so then the Guardian announces that they're going to leave. They're going to leave the universe. There's a nice shot of a whole bunch of different Green Lanterns and the human Green Lantern all shot. The Guardians are going to leave. And so basically the Zamorans tell Carol Ferris she thinks they're queen, and she is their queen, but they're, you know, they don't have to listen to her. They're like, we're leaving, you know, the Guardians are our boyfriends now. We're going to go off with them. We don't need you. I assume she goes back to Earth, probably become Carol Ferris again. So, and here here's a great one. The human Guardian is going to be left behind to give guidance to the Green Lanterns. And here we have this Guardian say, additionally, Guy Gardner of Earth will dwell with you as he attempts to learn the way of this core. And Guy Gardner says, what? No chance, Baldy. I do what I want to do. But we all know he'll fall into line and eventually join the Justice League, where probably his most famous time was. Oh, one of the Guardians was actually Sinestro in disguise, but it would be funny if he could have snuck along with the Guardians, but of course they're too smart for him, and so they put him back. Oh, look at that! How harsh is that? Jeez.
Oh, jeez.
yeah. And so nice shot of all the Guardians hooking up with the Zamoran girlfriends and going off into another dimension or something and I guess this is so small. I guess this was a 2-page spread.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's how it ends. So,
very cool.
So yeah, I hope I didn't take too long.
No, you're fine.
And let me see, did I have anything else to present? I already showed my comic book. Yeah, so that is basically it. After this, Green Lantern became the Green Lantern Corps. Super popular. Joe Staton and Steve Englehart, I guess like the next summer, went ahead and did Millennium, another big crossover event, which I don't remember being very impressed by. I don't even know if I read the whole thing through.
Yeah, I think basically the Manhunters. I never remember how to do the Manhunters, and there were some people on Earth. Apparently, they're brainwashed to be Manhunters, or but yeah, I don't remember being really impactful. I just remember, that's nice. But I think issues 1 and 2, and that was really about it. I didn't really read the whole story.
Yeah, I mean, crossover events might be good for selling comic books that month. It might stoke interest. You see, oh, there's a crossover. I got to get this issue. But when I'm going through back issues in a comic book store and I see like, oh, this is a Millennium tie-in, it kind of turns me off. I like, I'll skip over it because, it's going to have a bunch of stuff that refers to stuff that just is not that interesting. They're going to, it's going to conform to whatever they need to happen in Millennium. So as much as I love Englehart and Staton, I'd give Millennium another look if I, found a copy of it or whatever. Maybe I'd give it another try. But I don't think I was that impressed. And I think a lot of people have bad. I think crossover events have a bad reputation. You had Secret Wars was like the most popular. Secret Wars, like the most popular comic book ever. Crisis on Infinite Earths is one of the most awesome spectacles ever. But I mean, other than that, I don't think there's too many that people really think of as being great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big investment because back then when you're a kid, you can't really afford to get this is every single issue involved with Invasion. Invasion, or I guess what else have they done? I think they had Armageddon 2001, which went through the annual, so I guess it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
Not the monthly titles, but and then they had oh geez, Eclipsa was another tie-in they had, or crossover event.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, they've done so many, but I just I guess they still do it today, I guess. But I think they
Oh,
have
sure,
this,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, this thing they have an
Yeah.
absolute power that's going on right now. But yeah, no, back then it was because I think when you have your own car, it's easy. But back then, a lot of us, were kids. We didn't, so can't really go to the comic shop anytime you want, and also limited funds too.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. Those tie-in events, they could be a bit much.
Yeah, definitely. Marvel did them too.
I would say, I mean, Flashpoint, it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah.
Flashpoint, the series wasn't that interesting to me, but the tie-ins were really cool because you got to see these different superheroes.
Right.
Because like the Batman tie-ins, you had Batman where it was Bruce Wayne's dad that became Batman. Bruce Wayne died, and so you got stuff like that. There was like sort of like an evil Aquaman or something like that, if I remember.
Yes, it was Emperor Aquaman.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But like not too much actually happened in the Flashpoint series. It was mostly about Flash trying to get back to modern day or something. I remember not too much happened in it.
I think he's trying to find out his mother's killer, I think was.
Right. Yeah.
But I remember the Amazons and Atlanteans are at war, and they pretty much like destroy all of Europe. Like they flood it, basically. It's underwater. So,
yeah, so that's cool. That was a case where the tie-ins were good. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I remember. DC would do it, and Marvel would do it too, like a lot with Maximum Carnage, and with that the Maximum Clonage, and just I remember X-Men had a lot of them with the Executioner song, and yeah.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Atlantis Tax, I think that was one that Marvel did. So yeah, so many crossover events. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this has gone on quite long enough.
No, thanks. This was fun. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a good time too. Hopefully, I didn't talk too much about my book. Tried to be concise, but anyway, all right. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thanks, you, Jim. Everybody. That was great. And we will get back together real soon to enter the Atomic Archive. And you will just have to tune in to find out what we talk about.
Indeed, yes.
We don't even know yet.
I have an inkling, but I won't say.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Bye.